Hello and welcome to Battersea Power Station, where we're about to have a very big night out.
3 artists made it through the competition and we thought we'd stay up late and celebrate. So how will they rise to the challenge of painting a night scene?
Will it be an all-night art party or a dark night of the soul? A moonlight sonata or a hard day's night?
Oh, we'll be working like a dog.
It's the final of Landscape Artist of the Year. Throughout the series, we've presented 48 talented and competitive artists with a range of breathtaking and inspiring views.
I think the view is incredible. When we arrived, I actually shed a tear of joy.
We've challenged them to create landscape masterpieces, each in their own individual style. From a blast of the unorthodox...
This is biro sprayed with deodorant.
...to a slice of the unexpected.
I'm pretending I'm a child with poster paints.
OK, splash it on. And throughout it all, 3 artists have excelled. Patsy Moore.
Fujiko Rose.
Sue England.
Just amazement to get through to the final. It's fantastic.
It's definitely a big validation, a wonderful booster of confidence.
This is crazy. No way did I think I would get through to the final.
Now it's time for the ultimate artistic showdown. I've never seen such a difficult final. Just thought you'd like to know that.
Thanks. Thank you, everybody.
I'm a very messy painter.
Oh, no, well, I mean, look at your hands. You look like a Smurf.
Timing-wise, do you feel that you're on plan, on target?
No.
No? OK.
The sensational prize within our finalists' grasp is a £10,000 commission for the Royal Institute of British Architects to capture the Gothic glory of Venice, in honour of the esteemed Victorian artist and critic, John Ruskin.
But it's not just tonight's artwork that's up for scrutiny. The judges will get to see, for the first time, a landscape art artist were given 2 weeks to complete.
Never attempted anything like that before.
And choosing the winner are our judges, Kate Bryan, Tai-Shan Scherenberg, and Kathleen Soriano.
I want our winner to surprise us.
Yeah, as always.
So who would take the top prize and be crowned this year's winner?
The Landscape Artist of the Year 2019 is... As the sun sets over London, tonight our artists face their final challenge. Their view is of Battersea Power Station, which, having lain derelict for decades, is now undergoing a major reconstruction.
Capturing this architectural icon as it's brought back to life are 2 professional artists, Fujiko Rose and Patsy Moore.
Winning would be such an accolade. The thought that the judges rate what I do gives me huge confidence.
It'd definitely be a huge boost for me to win. It would open up new doors, so I have to try my best.
Painting alongside Patsy and Fujiko is one amateur artist, Sue England.
To win it, it would be a validation of what I do as an artist. I just feel so privileged to have got this far.
This is some urban landscape, isn't it? Isn't it stunning?
Absolutely amazing.
There's a lot of detail.
There's a lot of
there.
light coming through it, isn't there?
Yeah.
A lot of light.
I'm going to take my glasses off and then I won't be able to see the detail.
That's the one.
It's the final of Landscape Artist of the Year. It's going to be very exciting. We've got 3 very good artists, but we're also doing it in this crazy situation with this bonkers building. So it's going to be something that none of us have ever experienced before, and I'm really intrigued.
And as darkness falls on the capital, our 3 finalists are preparing for their nocturnal challenge.
It's mostly black and white I need here, isn't it? My view is changing by the second. I loved it half an hour ago. But yes, it's fascinating, and it will keep changing as the night goes on, I'm sure.
I've not drawn a nighttime landscape, so I'm sure there's going to be complications with that. I don't know what those complications will be, but I will know shortly.
The view is a bit overpowering, really. It's right on top of us. It's colossal, and I really don't know yet how I'm going to tackle that scale. I've no horizon line.
While the artists may be full of trepidation, the judges already have something to celebrate.
Hi guys, I'm back.
With a bonus.
Brought somebody with you.
Yeah, I thought we needed an extra judge.
Bonus baby.
She's just gorgeous.
Gina's already picked her favourite.
Oh, excellent. Well, we can all go home now.
So how's she going to express her interest?
But we'll work that out later.
Okay.
Artists, I hope you're not afraid of the dark and that you've been eating your carrots because your nighttime challenge is about to begin.
You have 4 hours to complete the last landscape of the competition. Good luck to each of you, and your time starts now. Patsy, have you been practicing painting in the dark?
No, not really.
But you like the landscape?
Not in all honesty. I looked longingly at the river behind me, but no, it's the power station.
It's like a space station, isn't it? I wouldn't be surprised if it just took off.
Do you think a rocket's going to come out at the top?
Patsy Moore is a professional artist and art tutor from West Sussex. At her heat at Herse-Monceau Observatory, it was her vibrant underpainting technique that led to her winning artwork of the atmospheric scene.
That beautiful red ground coming through and that purple in the sky. She's a really great colourist.
At the semi-final, in Cromarty, Patsy once again combined a palette of warm and cool tones to wow the judges.
Patsy's style is very traditional, but she has found a shorthand. She's able to give us great detail without getting fussy. So I'm really excited to see what she can do tonight.
Now, you did pink backgrounds a lot.
Yes.
It's your kind of hallmark.
Not today, because it's a very different light. I've overpainted my good old Patsy pink background with a kind of indigo, darker tone.
And this is what you've done so far, which is structuring it.
Yes, just marking it all out. I want to get some sky that I did see earlier.
Right.
Not a sunset as such, but a slightly lighter sky towards the bottom.
What about the red crane, the red on the crane?
There'll be red cranes.
Will
I
there?
love those dots.
I've gone portrait. I find portraits easier to do in a shorter period of time just because I can get detail in and I can get a sense of the place. If I was doing landscape, I think I'd have to include too much and there'd be too much to do, so I've gone portrait with this.
It was professional artist and wallpaper designer Fujiko Rose's ability to edit her view which first impressed the judges. Her dynamic composition, along with her monochrome use of Indian ink on white paper, won her heat at Gateshead's Millennium Bridge.
There's a timeless quality to it, the way in which she's used the white of the paper to define the arc of the bridge.
Fujiko's semi-final industrial seascape delicately conveyed the strength of the engineering while bringing a hint of East meets West to the scene.
Fujiko's great strength is composition. She uses artistic license in a really beautiful way. She doesn't have colour to play around with it, but that might be fine tonight, given that everything's black.
How's it going, Fuji?
I'm not quite sure at the moment. If you come back in a couple hours, I might be crying.
Why will you be crying?
It's a little bit experimental.
What you're going for?
Yeah.
In what way?
It's sort of like, you know, you remember a dream, but you don't actually remember the specifics of it. That's what the image in my head is like.
It's that thing when you try and remember a name that you've forgotten and you're just,
Yeah, it's just on the cusp of it.
There's a lot of detail up there, isn't there?
I am a bit overwhelmed, but I might just squint my eyes, and then it's just a shape.
You seem very relaxed.
No, I'm very nervous.
How are you? You're giving a good
am.
impression of someone who's very comfortable and calm.
I know, I should play poker.
I started by slapping some paint on because I'm just trying to get out the basic shapes and to get the proportions roughly right, which is very difficult because we're looking up at it. Getting the proportions right is fairly vital to how the rest of it will develop.
Retired graphic artist Sue England from Chichester is our only amateur artist to reach the final. Sue first painted as a wild card at Herstmonceux Castle and was eventually selected as this year's overall wild card winner.
When I saw all the 6 wildcard winners lined up, Sue's jumped out. She'd made something with its own distinct style.
At the semi-final, Sue's depiction of the oil rigs saw her triumph once more, thanks to her signature semi-abstract style.
Sue's essentially a colourist, but it's quite a monochrome palette tonight. And what Sue loves more than anything is that sort of fluidity of the colour across the page. I'm just curious as to how she's going to find that.
So Sue painting through the night, painting a huge building that's lit in a really bizarre way. Interesting or a pain?
Yeah.
Or...
No, it's really interesting. To be honest, I'm not going for accuracy.
Yeah.
It's the feel of the thing and the way it looks at night.
Usually the light falls on an object and it creates 3 dimensions, whereas here all the light seems to be emanating from it. Is it making it difficult to make it understandable?
Yes, it is. I think as well the towers in particular look transparent.
Interesting.
Chinese lanterns or something. You know, as if they're
I
made
know what
out
you
of
mean.
papier-mâché.
But one of your strengths is your sense of colour. And here there isn't much to play with.
No.
Is that an issue?
No, not really, I don't think. I mean, when you look, there's lots of tones going on, all the greys and whites, even browns coming in.
That's enough to work with?
I think that's enough to work with, yeah.
I'll let you crack on. I'll speak to you later.
The artists are almost an hour into their final 4-hour challenge of the competition. And just like the building before them, their deadline looms large.
I am rushing because I am quite nervous for time today because it's not as set in my head what I'm doing. I'm trying to be playful, which usually takes more time, usually requires more thinking.
I will struggle with the time, as always. I'm not the speediest painter in the world. So it's just trying to make the decisions quite quickly and get on with it.
The time restriction is always a problem for me because normally I take days and days faffing about. When I started, I just placed it in and I know I've not got the proportions right, but I'm just going for the feel.
This evening at Battersea Power Station, our 3 finalists are approaching the 2nd hour of their 4-hour challenge, and the view's proving problematic.
I'm struggling a bit. I haven't got the monumental feel of it because the proportions are wrong. I need another foot on my canvas to do that.
At the moment, it doesn't super excite me, so I need to find a way to make it more exciting. Still working that bit out.
I find all of it difficult. It's such a network of lights and different tones and angles. It's everything. It's just everything.
Nighttime painting, why don't we think of this before?
Because it's really difficult for the artist, but the light is beautiful, although painting throughout the night, I think, might be a different sort of problem. I'm ready for dinner and a box set, you know what I mean?
And a kit.
Yeah.
So we're positioned low and at the corner of the building, looking up. What difficulties or opportunities does that afford?
What they've got to really use are the 2 chimneys and the spaces that are clear to create that volume.
So no danger of twee with a brutal industrial
I
look
don't think
like
that is a danger at all.
The moon is just making an appearance. Yesterday was the full moon. I know that because I woke up this morning naked and hairy on Hampstead Heath.
Right.
But I presume the moon might add a little bit of extra something.
That'd be wonderful. I mean, it's such a man-made landscape here. It'd be quite nice to have a little sort of accent that is natural.
Well, it'll be a long night at Battersea Power Station, but let's see which artist can batter the others into submission. I'll get my coat.
So you always get a lot of paint down, which is fantastic. Did you know straight away that you were going to try and tackle not just the verticality of the power station, but also the water in front of it?
Yeah, well, I like water. So it's nice that it's got the reflections in it, even though I've got the reflections in the wrong place.
Did you find it a bit of a struggle to sort of manage something which was so big and also had so many different angles? It's all over the place, isn't it?
It is. There's too much going on, really. And also, I didn't get the proportions right. Once you've got it laid out, you've just got to go with it, really.
Yeah. But of course, what's important is that we're always judging this on the actual painting itself, and we're not looking for a very sort of, you know, architectural drawing. I'm quite struck by your hands. You are definitely the muckiest painter we have this evening. What's going on?
I know. I do make an awful mess. Nobody will shake hands with me now, and hopefully somebody's got some baby wipes. Have you got some baby wipes?
I've got baby wipes. I've got loads of baby wipes. I got you covered.
OK, cool.
Working with her signature medium of masking fluid and black ink, Fujiko's composition is coming together.
You've gone for exactly what you see in front. How are you going to give us a sense of night?
The whole thing should be very dark. It's a very rough sketch, but it's just a sense of light and dark, but I want it to be quite dark.
OK. This almost looks like a little Whistler sketch, which is very appropriate given where we are. Are you a fan of nighttime painting?
I've not tried drawing a nighttime scene before, but I like a lot of artwork that's set at night.
And timing-wise, do you feel that you're on plan, on target?
No.
No? OK, so I better get out of your way.
Just, I spent too long sketching.
OK.
So...
Well, it's a fantastic start. Really, really marvellous.
Patsy, is this pure coincidence that you're actually wearing the colours you are using?
I do love colour coordination. Bring my canvas to match my job.
I'm looking at this, and it's very big, and it fills your vision.
Yes.
And you've been able to create a bit of distance.
Because it's big and it's powerful, I want to get it all in a short space, but also in a short space of time. You would expect the towers to go vertically. However, if you look at them, they're actually getting slightly closer together and they go slightly backwards.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah. This drawing with white has created a sort of weird effect.
Everything's back to front, rather like an old film negative.
Yeah. I love that. It does give it a sort of ghostly negative.
Should I leave it like that?
Afraid you... No, crack on.
The celebrated monolith of industrial architecture that the artists are painting tonight was first conceived in 1927. Due to London's rising population and an increased demand for electricity, plans were drawn up for a super power station, and access to a transport infrastructure was vital.
The location was pretty ideal. There were a lot of railway lines that terminated here. Also, you've got proximity to the River Thames for shipping in the coal, which was used to fire the boilers, and you could also bring coal in by rail. So it was seen as an ideal location by the London Power Company.
By 1955, the buildings were completed, but not before the renowned architect Sir Giles Gilbert Scott was brought in to refine the existing design.
He was an expert at monumental buildings and design. So he's given us the fluted chimneys, he's given us the elevational treatment on the brickwork, and it becomes more and more ornate as you go up into the monumental building that it is.
But by the 1970s, the power station was outdated, and 1983 marked its final year of electricity production. By this time, the building had become an iconic landmark, having graced album covers and gained listed status. For the next 30 years, the building lay derelict, until finally in 2012, its current regeneration began.
Capturing the power station as it undergoes its transformation are our 3 finalists, and they're almost halfway through their late-night challenge.
I'm okay energy-wise, just quite hyped up. It's adrenaline, I guess. My nervousness is also keeping me going.
I'm not going quite as fast as I would like. It's always a race against time for me, and I think at the end I'm going to feel absolutely banjaxed.
How's your stamina?
I'm hoping the coffee will keep me going through.
Plenty of coffee.
Yes, a drop of rum in it would be nice.
That would be nice. Tonight at Battersea Power Station, Patsy, Fujiko and Sue are nearing the halfway stage of their last challenge of the competition, battling to win a £10,000 commission and the prestigious title of Landscape Artist of the Year. They're all feeling the pressure.
I haven't got to the point of ruining it yet. I've still got such a lot to do. But yes, I could easily just panic and spoil it.
If I could start again, having looked at it for 2 hours or whatever it is, I understand what the building's doing a bit more now, but I can't change my mind halfway through.
It was quite miraculous. The ink didn't go on the paper even though I dropped the brush. Oh, my heart went.
We're halfway into the final, and how are they doing? Let's start, first of all, with Sue.
I think Sue's got a really good composition. I love the fact that she's got right in there. I slightly worry that the colour, in the way it's applied, it feels a little bit slabby.
It does look like there's really good bones there, but it's looking a bit flat, isn't it? But I'm hoping the second half of our evening, she'll really be able to lighten it up.
She did start by putting on huge slabs of colour. It was industrial.
But also very organic. We get the presence of the building without the 2 chimneys being delineated.
OK, now Patsy. How do you think Patsy's doing?
I was a bit worried that Patsy's composition was too traditional and she was trying too much in too small a space, but I think she is pulling it off.
I do like the blue, colder tones that she's picked up, but what I'm worried about is I feel I'm looking at something rather romantic.
For me, it works because of the ghostly nature, and that's happened to her white pastel drawing underneath. I think it's rather beautiful.
OK, what about Fujiko?
I really like the way Fujiko breaks things down as that sort of horizontal and vertical elements. But I need to feel that I'm looking at something more than just a very good illustration.
What she's got is very true, it's very accurate, the blacks are gorgeous, but there's no sort of storytelling.
What was interesting, where she's masked out the cranes and she's put the black in the sky, it looks like constellations.
I'm worried for all of them about the introduction of the red lights. How sweet that might make the pictures.
I was talking to Stephen about the view, and he said there's no chance of tweeness here. And I went, no. And I've just said, yes, the red lights, it would make it incredibly twee.
I have to tell you, none of them are going to leave out the red lights. Of course, part of your judging will involve looking at the work they've been commissioned to do over a period of time. How do you feel about that, Kathy?
Super excited. It's always one of the best bits.
Yeah.
When we have the big reveal.
And it can change everything. You can think, right, I know who my winner is, I've got no problems. And then you see the commissions and you see a totally different side of the artist. So it's really the combination of both that helps us make our minds up.
For their commissions, our finalists were assigned 3 spectacular but very different landscapes, without the pressure of a time challenge.
The commissions are important because they remind us of what they are like as artists when they are doing something under their own steam, within their own time frame. What we get to see is something that they absolutely have edited 100% themselves.
Sue headed off to Falkirk in Scotland, home to the world's only rotating boat lift, which connects 2 canals. The Falkirk wheel is a pioneering feat of modern engineering, but perhaps not the most obvious subject for a painting.
Well, it's not what I would call a landscape. I've never attempted anything like that before in my life.
Fujiko travelled to the foot of the Black Mountains and the ruins of the 12th century Lanterney Priory, originally built by a Norman knight and once one of the great medieval buildings of Wales.
There's a lot to this view, which can be intimidating. The Abbey's already fabulous, but it's situated in such an amazing location.
Patsy visited the remote island of Skellig Michael off the southwest coast of Ireland, where the remains of an early Christian monastery perch high above the sea.
Wow, it's extraordinary. It's another world, isn't it? Just another world. They're tombstones. What a view these guys have got forever.
The 3 locations chosen by the judges all had strong, distinctive characteristics and came with their own set of artistic challenges.
The main struggle is just, I think, it is very complex. Because it's a very open structure, you can see through the arches. It's quite hard to play with that, in a sense.
It's got so much to it. Clear blue sky, bright blue sea. The view could be a bit chocolate boxy or pretty.
I'm moving, the boat's moving, the water's moving, the machinery is moving, all within this huge space. But I'm already getting ideas as to how I can amalgamate that.
And to fully marvel at the mechanics, Sue was invited to look inside the wheel.
There we
Oh,
go.
great. Danger of death.
Yeah, don't worry.
That's
You'll be safe with us.
encouraging, yes.
You can go all the way through. You could go out and then we can look out the door at the other end.
Okay, well, I'm up for anything, whatever. Wow, how bizarre is this? Woo!
You are inside.
That is no landscape like I've ever experienced before.
One of the main challenges for our finalists is how to capture more than just the view.
I do want to create a sense of, you know, like you can step inside the picture. It would be really lovely to do.
I don't want to do a horizon, the wheel, the water, all flat on. I've got to somehow mix all that in together.
I am fascinated by these rough old stairways. I think I might have found my view.
The artists returned home with 2 weeks to complete their paintings. The finished works will be unveiled before the final judging.
But tonight, the 3 artists have just 4 hours to create their final artworks. And painting at night is presenting a whole new set of artistic dilemmas.
Fujiko, you've got a very strong sense of the structure of the building already. How are you going to deal with these accents of light around, the red lights and the cranes of white sort of...
The paper colour is going to be the white. In a way, because it's nighttime, the light's so much more obvious and it just becomes like another shape in a way. The sky's not done yet. I think it's going to be a bit darker. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, because it's quite a dark sky.
But it's not pitch black
No.
out there. There is light in there. So are you enjoying it?
I really love just before I started drawing, when I'm sketching the ideas out. Okay. And I like the last maybe 30 minutes of the drawing. I'm in the middle phase where I'm putting the ink down, and usually that's the scary phase for me where I'm like, oh, I don't like that. I'm going to have to change that later.
So it sounds that the process, the most of it is painful.
It's tense. I enjoy it, but it's tense.
I feel like I'm looking at something that's quite romantic. I think it's the colour that's making me feel about the romance more than anything.
But I can see those colours. Angela, the colours are changing every minute.
But it's a symphony of blues I'm looking at here, as opposed to sort of the inky black or dark purples that we're looking at in the sky.
I didn't actually want the sky totally black.
Okay.
I wanted it to be like the light we had earlier on.
Okay. And how are you going to deal with
I don't know.
what I think are the really troublesome, pretty red fairy lights that we have dotted everywhere?
Well, they will be there. There will be some cranes as well. I can't do it without the red lights.
Do you worry that if you put the red lights on it, it's going to
look like static fireworks?
I'm wondering.
We'll see how they come out.
For one artist, it's not just the painting that's proving a challenge.
You're right.
Getting a little bit tired, to be honest.
It's late. It's actually the next day now.
It's past my bedtime.
You're right. How are you finding Battersea Power Station?
It's quite different at night than I thought it was going to be. It's more floaty, and I think that black really throws the towers. So I need to work a bit more on the towers, and then I'm going to put the highlights in, all these lovely reflections down here.
Right.
And those beautiful red spots at the top there are just going to be...
They're very pretty, aren't they?
In the right place.
With the prospect of victory within their reach, the finalists have less than an hour to resolve their landscapes.
No, I'm not happy with it at the moment. It's looking very messy, but there's not much I can do about that. I'm pretty sure I will run out of time.
I think I've captured some of the feel of it, the size of it, and the fact that it's really dominating what we've been looking at all evening. It's a bit messy and it's not that accurate. The middle bit is very peculiar because it's right in the middle. It bothers me a bit.
I'm struggling more than I would like. I need to get a move on, extra move on. For me, the atmosphere at the moment of what I'm drawing is a bit flat. It's just finding the things that's missing, you know, a bit of seasoning almost for the artwork.
Painting one of London's iconic landmarks in the hopes of being crowned Landscape Artist of the Year are Paty, Fujiko and Sue. And time is running out as they approach the conclusion of their challenge.
There's only 10-15 minutes left. I don't think I can do too much in that time. I don't think I'll overwork it. I'll get it presentable.
Artists, wake up. It's the final countdown. You have 5 minutes left.
I'm on the verge of fiddling. The middle bit of the building is wrong and looks a bit of a mess, but there's not a lot I can do about it at this stage. I think I'm going to sit back and look at it and decide if it needs any more little touches here and there.
I'm doing cranes now on my picture, which are lovely shapes, if I could get a grip of them. With the time I've got left, I will be checking in some darks and lights and smudging things around a little bit. This doesn't look like a Patsy painting at the moment at all.
Artists, you have 1 minute left.
I'll hold back on crying until after I finish drawing. I can't afford the time right now.
Artists, for the very last time this series, your time is up.
Please put down your brushes and step away from your work. While our artists can finally relax...
So what did you find the hardest thing about this evening?
Standing up.
The judges review this evening's works of art and also get their first look at the commissions.
Oh, wow.
Blimey.
Oh, cool.
That is so much spread.
Oh, such different takes.
It just changes everything, doesn't it?
Always.
OK, so taking them one by one, Fujiko, that is quite an outstanding commission.
I'm quite happy with my commission piece. Lantany Priory was really lovely, and I could kind of go with the flow a bit when I was drawing it, which I really enjoyed.
It is quite a phenomenal piece of work. You really feel the foliage.
What's amazing is the way that she shows the light dappling. It's absolutely beautiful, just with the light touch of that wash. The movement in it is incredible because the centre is completely empty. So when you focus on it, you just get exploded outwards. And you don't miss colour.
I was thinking Fujiko's work tonight was problematic. It was simplistic, and actually seeing Fujiko's commission next to it, suddenly it looks much stronger.
Tonight, what she's done, she's really showing this thick, velvety sky. It's really, really oppressive, and still managed to find the natural elements of the landscape and overlay that.
In her evolution, she actually reduced her language.
Absolutely. Both of those side by side, they make sense of her work as a whole.
Tonight, I struggled with the landscape more than I was expecting myself to. There's a few bits I would like to have tweaked. It's just missing a little bit of pizzazz.
Patsy, what do we think? Were we expecting watercolour?
I'm worried the judges might not like watercolour. I'm also worried that they might think it looks rather like a meringue rather than an island.
I'm impressed with what Patsy managed to do with Skelly. She's given it this completely otherworldliness, which it clearly has, and I think the fact that she's used watercolour has allowed her to capture a sense of that more effectively.
Yeah, especially the way she's rendered the light. So on the path that we're going to follow is light, and then you've got this beautiful shadow down towards the sea on the left, which is absolutely readable.
I'm really impressed because although it is believable and feels like a real landscape, there's a kind of poetry in the way that the paint's gone down. The problem is looking at Patsy's commission and then seeing it next to what she's done tonight, they don't sit together brilliantly. I don't know whether we should hold that against her because we are interested in seeing a range.
When you look at the work today, that sort of lyricism and poetry has become slightly too heavy-handed. She became sort of weighted down with the romance of it.
I thought the accents of the white lights tonight might give the artist something to work with. In Patsy's case, it's reduced the impact that this building actually has.
And I think what's really great about what she's done this evening is that colour palette. It is really beautiful. She was the only person to identify this diesel blue at the end of the day and allow that to come into the night. I think it makes her sky more believable.
I could have done so much better with the picture I've just painted. With a bit longer, I'm not happy with what I've done, really.
Shall we talk about Sue? This is like a Barbara Hepworth piece of modernism.
The commission was daunting, trying to combine landscape with this metal monstrosity in the middle of the landscape. But I did enjoy, in the end, trying to find a way around that.
You've got an artist who's identified a distinct element that somehow captures the whole thing. I love that.
I love the colour palette. It's like a beautiful, summery, blue sky day, but there's nothing pretty about it at all. I mean, the way that those trees are melting into the fields is so cool.
It feels like sort of English futurism. There's a real sense of a certain time in English history. It's very well balanced, and I think that's because of the colours and the tonalities she's using. Her power station is emanating energy, and it's the only one that does it in the way that I see it happening tonight. I think it's a very well-constructed painting.
I really love the way that Sue handled the shadows this evening. You really get a sense of not just the building, but the effect that the building has on the space around it. So the night sky, the cranes, the greenery, the water.
I was really worried about Sue's blockiness earlier on today. But actually, it's got a really strong sense of how it felt tonight. It does sort of loom over you.
I'm never happy with most things I produce. I didn't resolve the middle section, but I think I captured something of the feel.
I'm really thrown by these commissions in a really big way. I thought I knew where I was headed, and I might have gone completely the opposite direction after seeing these.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Well, there's nothing like it being the middle of the night to sharpen your judgment. And there we have monochrome, watercolour, 3 oils. Does that confuse any judging?
It's always the commissions that change everything.
The commission makes sense of what we've seen in the heat. It's not as if it's like
Not as if it's just judged on the commission.
It can tip something somewhere else.
So you've changed your judgment?
I have personally changed
and
who
Ty,
I thought would win.
Well, I was in a position just now where I had a winner for tonight's work, and I found somebody's commission was streets ahead of the others, and it's not the same person, so I'm a bit sort of confused. And having said that, I think all 3 finalists this evening were masters of what they did. We definitely chose people who were good.
Have you come to a decision?
Yeah. Yeah. And very excited in it too.
Sue, Patsy, Fujiko, you really have, all of you, been splendid finalists. Not only that, but it's been a real pleasure for us to follow you right through the competition. Now, tonight's prize is a £10,000 commission from the Royal Institute of British Architects to create a landscape vista of a city which has been inspiring artists for centuries. You will go to Venice.
So, this being the final, only one of you can be declared the winner. And after much deliberation, the judges have reached their decision. The Landscape Artist of the Year 2019 is... Fujiko Rose.
I have apparently won, which is very, very exciting. It's a bit of a birthday present for me since my birthday's in 3 days. I'd say best birthday, isn't it? There we go. It is definitely really big for me in the sense of self-confidence. So it's great that the judges reacted to it well, and wow, it's one of the best things you can really ask for, isn't it, with being an artist?
The whole thing's been a positive for me. Plus, it's helped my painting, so I shall take that away with me, yeah. I think Fujiko's work is fantastic. She's very talented, and I'm in awe of what she does.
Thank you. I'm not in the slightest bit surprised that Fuji's won. I think she's a very, very worthy winner, and I shall follow her with admiration and inspiration. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. It's been such fun, and I think everybody should try it.
Have you ever been?
No, I've not been to Paris.
We're really delighted with our winner. Fujiko makes complete sense as an artist. She captures light so beautifully. She knows what she's doing.
She's mashing up printmaking techniques with ink drawing and doing it in really interesting ways.
It's new, basically.
Yeah.
What she's doing is new.
She's increased the qualities which are traditional, and by doing so has made something much more radical and interesting. You see her confidence growing, and I really have utter faith in her as an artist.
It's just really fitting that we've got an artist who's ready to go out and do it properly. I mean, you know, I think her and Venice are going to get on like a house on fire.
Venice is very exciting. Haven't been. I've always wanted to go. I am looking forward to seeing all the architecture. I'm feeling very fortunate. It's wonderful.
Next time, Fujiko travels to the romantic city of Venice
I like this way of traveling. It feels quite glamorous.
to create her prize commission.
I really want it to be a balance of the past, the present, and the future of Venice. Try and inject all those things in.
Before its grand unveiling at the Royal Institute of British Architects.
Here we go. Yes.